Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Coffee with Katie. I have my sweater weather mug and my Boba Fett Bounty Hunter ugly Christmas sweater. It's so soft and so wonderful. I got it on clearance last year. It's great. Ugly Christmas sweaters may be one of my favorite things ever. So today's video is going to be a very overdue book haul. I have way too many books to go through. It's probably gonna take too long, but this is probably my last book haul of the year, besides anything I get for Christmas or the Barnes & Noble after Christmas sale that they've been doing, where it's like 50% off all hardcovers. We'll see, but this should be my last book haul of the year, as it is December now. Okay, so first up, I'm just gonna start because I don't know what to do, is this beautiful, beautiful gem that is in my hands finally, and that is The Gentleman's Gambit by Evie Dunmore. I literally freaked out when I saw this in stores and immediately grabbed it. I am so excited to finish the series. I'm like tearing up, I'm so happy. I'm so excited to finish the series. I'm literally gonna start this today. If I have time, I should have time. I will make time. But I'm so excited about this. This is the, like I said, last installment in the League of Extraordinary Women series. This is following Catriona. And I think the plot for this one is that she kind of had a crush on one of the other noblemen and it was never mutual, and so she's kind of like recovering from that. It was always secret, but people knew that she was kind of interested and blah, blah, blah. He was not interested back. And so she's kind of dealing with that. And she climbs out of the Scottish loch because that is where she's from. She's from Scotland. I think half Scottish, half English. And after a good swim, and finds herself face to face with a stranger who turns out to be her father's attractive new colleague. And it's apparently a ruse that he's trying to classify ancient artifacts. He actually is determined to take back his homeland in the Middle East. And he thinks that winning Catriona's favor could be the key to his success, but unfortunately seducing her is more challenging than he thought. Forced in close proximity in Oxford's Hallow Halls, Elias and Catriona begin to play a risky game that asks Catriona one more time to put her heart and wildest dreams at stake. I can't wait. I'm pretty sure Evie Dunmore can do no wrong to me, and I can't wait to see how different Catriona's story is than all of the others. Yay! It's in my hands. I can't believe it. We'll just set that over there so I can start it in a minute. Next up, I have the Bookish Box exclusive editions of the Heart of the Fae series by Emma Hamm. So the first one is the Heart of the Fae. It's very pretty. I love Emma Hamm, and I will buy pretty much all of her books because I just love them so much. So this is the first one in this duology, I believe. And then the second one is Veins of Magic. And I believe, from what I remember, this is a Celtic Beauty and the Beast kind of retelling, where the main character is Celtic, and it's Celtic Fae. So the main character ends up somehow being in some sort of arranged marriage or situation with the Fae, and his like beast element is that he's got these like crystals that like rip up his body. I don't remember exactly how it comes into play. Crystals grew from the wound, splitting open skin and bone. His people banished him to a cursed isle for his disfigurement. So that's the like beast element, but I love Emma Hamm. I just collect her books, okay? The next one that I got in from Fairy Loot, finally, is the Fairy Loot edition of Throne of the Fallen by Karen Maniscalco. I've already read this. I already really liked it. I pre-ordered the Fairy Loot special edition and just got it in, and it is stunning. Look at those pages. I like that they chose green, and it's like a very different colorway. I feel like the Kingdom of the Wicked books were very dark with a little bit of purple, and this is very colorful and very intricate and beautiful. It's also bigger than the other ones. I apologize if you hear chewing or squeaking. My dog is trying his best to not interrupt, but he's asking me to play. I love the purple, the gold foiling. There's just so much about this that I love, but it's a beautiful edition. If you don't know what this is about, you're following Envy, one of the princes of hell, because the Kingdom of the Wicked series was following Prince Wrath. There you go. I also have the Fairy Loot edition of Sword Catcher by Cassandra Clare. I did do an unboxing for this. I don't think it's up at the moment. I'm working on it. but this is a very pretty edition. I love the character art on it actually, and the edges around make this book is beautiful. I did start this. I was supposed to read it in November. I haven't been able to finish it yet, but I want to, but now I'm in my December TBR, so we have that constant battle. But it's a stunning edition. I already went over it in that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and skip. We have the Bookish Box edition of Autumn's Traitor by Hannah Parker, because I did get Autumn's Tithe by Hannah Parker, so I just went ahead and grabbed the sequel in case I really enjoy it. Hopefully I do. There's a lot of gold in this, and the end pages are really pretty. Autumn's Traitor, and I don't really remember what the first book is about, and this is the second one, so moving right along. And then of course I got Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. I bought the paperback to match my other paperback, even though I'm getting the Fairy Loot editions, because I really love these books, and hopefully I can also pass on the paperbacks to somebody who will really love them as well, so I can give that to somebody that I think will enjoy this series. But all right, sorry, Legends. Weekly interruption. Two Twisted Crowns is book 2 in the One Dark Window. No, not the One Dark Window, the Shepherd King duology, but One Dark Window was the first one. This wraps up the story. It was great. I loved both of the books so much. I did read it, obviously. One Dark Window, you're essentially following Elspeth Spendle, who has magic, and in this world, magic, it means you have a sickness, and they want to like eradicate magic because it is seen as dangerous, because it is, because of a curse, and they want to eliminate the curse, but in order to do that, they have to collect the magic and return it to the wood, and which means they have to collect all of the Providence cards, which is like a tarot magic cards. If you tap the card, you can channel its power. It's a really interesting magic system, and they're trying to do that. Highly recommend. Very good duology. Oh, you can get comfy? I had to distract him with a puzzle. Okay. Next is Upon a Frosted Star by M.A. Kuzner. This is the Waterstones exclusive edition. This is the same author as Midnight Neverwood, and I thought that book sounded so magical, and this one also sounds pretty magical. I ended up not super loving it, but I think this one's gonna be really interesting. It, I believe, is a semi-Swan Princess retelling. It says, the parties always started the same way, when the nights deepened, swallowing daylight by the hour, when winter whispered in frozen songs across the land, when the promise of snow could be tasted in the air. The parties were a thing of legend, sometimes an obsession, and a man is determined to find out more about the mysterious host, and discovers an abandoned manor silent with secrets and a cursed woman who is desperate to be free. Oh, it says, a bewitching new story inspired by The Great Gatsby and Swan Lake from the best-selling author Midnight Neverwood. So, it sounds kind of fun, and it's a very pretty edition. It's like a very beautiful book. And then I have, of course, A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. This is the regular edition, but I have the pre-order dust jacket on it with the beautiful spine. So there's that one. I have multiples, don't you worry. The Bookish Box edition of Fourth Wing, because I was subscribed at that time in June, and we got it recently. But anyway, by Rebecca Yarros. This is a really pretty edition. I like the metal corners. I've always thought that was really cool with books, and it's a really pretty edition. Good stuff. We all know what Fourth Wing is. A Curse for True Love, the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, which has the secret cover, which says The Ballad of the Archer and the Fox. A Curse for True Love is the final installment in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I also did a review about this. And I think I've mentioned this before, but I got the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of Foxglove by Adeline Grace to match my Belladonna. I've talked about this though. I read it, did a review. I'm sure you know what it's about. The Illumicrate edition of A Study in Drowning by Eva Reed. This edition is beautiful. I really love it. I was really interested in this. It's like a dark academia YA story, but look at the printed hardcover. It is so cool. And I believe this is like dark academia, but also magic and Gothic fantasy. There's a lot of different things going on. They're going to this manor that is magical, in ruin. They're trying to repair it. They're trying to discover the author's life that lived there. And dark magic and other things ensue, and it's like her and a rival student on opposite sides of the argument. So It's a very short summary that's not very helpful, but I really thought this sounded good, and I'm very happy to have this edition. Any of the ones that I have unboxed, even if I haven't posted it yet, I'm gonna kind of skip over, like the Hurricane Wars, the Fairy Loot edition by Thea Guanson. This is a stunning, absolutely beautiful edition of Hurricane Wars. The cover, the edges, the end papers, the naked hardcover. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. Broken binding edition of A Promise of Blood by Brian McKellen. This is book 1 in the Powder Mage series. This is a very interesting and unique series. I've never read it, but I realize it's kind of like French Revolution time period, but magic and stuff. Like, it's very interesting. I've done unboxings for this. Moving on. Not sure if I hauled this, so we have Never a Hero by Vanessa Lynn, but I've talked about this in a wrap-up. The Fairy Loot edition of A Curse for True Love finally got to me by Stephanie Garber. It is beautiful. The Fairy Loot editions of these books are absolutely stunning. It says, "May the best villain win." The edges, beautiful. The hardcover, beautiful. Everything about it is stunning, always. Also have Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This is the regular, like, first edition printing with the black edges, but we have that. I guess we haven't talked about this on my channel, but I have read it at this point, and it was great. It was painful. I'm sure you've heard many people talking about it. Book 2 and Fourth Wing. And then I have the Fairy Loot edition of The Forest Grimm by Catherine Purdy. It is a stunning edition as well, but I did an unboxing. One of the 2 UK editions, one of the many UK editions I have of this book. Oh no, A Curse for True Love, UK edition. This is the Waterstones exclusive edition. It doesn't have any edges, but I got the Wolf with the Flower Crown secret hardcover for this one, and this just has extra content in the back. I got the Fairy Loot editions of the Book of Tea Duology. So the first one is A Magic Steeped in Poison. The edges are beautiful. The covers are beautiful already, so with these edges, I had to get them. And then the second book is A Venom Dark and Sweet. I have read the first one, but I have not read the second one yet. But the Book of Tea Duology, Fairy Loot editions, they're beautiful. Essentially, it's like a competition about making tea, and the tea is also magic. It's really interesting. Another UK edition of A Curse for True Love. I'm so sorry, everyone. This I wanted to keep because it had the wolf paw or the fox paw. That is probably my favorite secret cover, and it's not signed or special, but I love that cover. But my signed edition also came in, and this one was the signed exclusive edition from Waterstones, and it was the apple secret cover, which is very fitting for Jax. Can't be too upset about it. Mine was signed in black. And then I finally got this in. I got it in originally, and it was damaged, and I had to get a replacement. So, and I think I did an unboxing for it anyway, but The Dragon of Ginseng by K.S. Veloso. This is the last book in the Chronicles of the Wolf Queen series. I bought this before I remembered that Fairy Loot was doing it, so I do have the BAM exclusive edition of Swordcatcher because the hardcover is really cool. It's printed, but I am going to pass this along to somebody because I don't need both, and I'm sure somebody else would be happy to have this. And then I got the Kingdom of Runes series, at least what they have so far, I think. The Bookish Box editions by Audrey Gray. So we have the first one, which is Oath Taker. It's really pretty covers and editions. I love the rose gold foiling and the sword details. Cursebreaker, Kingmaker, and Light Singer. Honestly, it's been so long since I was interested in reading those books that I don't even remember what they're about, but I believe it's a very popular fantasy romance series. Let me see what book 1 says. Essentially, the main character is like the chosen one that has a certain magic that maybe needed to break a curse on the kingdom. Will she break it? Who knows? Let's find out. Next, I got the Fairy Loot editions of these books to match my current Fairy Loot editions of the Red Rising trilogy. They finally did Iron Gold, which has some snicks on the back, on the spine. And they also did Dark Age, which is a chonky book. And I'm sure they'll continue with Lightbringer and Red God, but I got the next two to match the ones I currently have. I also got Prince of Thorns and Nightmares by Lindsay Miller. I got this because she's doing this like Disney Prince retelling series, which is really fun and interesting. It is a Disney Prince novel, and this one is following Prince Philip, who's my favorite prince ever. Aurora is my favorite princess. Maleficent is one of the best Disney villains ever, and so this is super exciting. On the back it says, do, master magic, do, stop Maleficent, don't, keep dreaming. I truly know nothing except that it's a Disney Prince twisted retelling, and it's Philip. That's all I needed. I was very excited for this. Still am. I also have the Illumicrate edition of Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. I truly don't even know what this is about, but I read the first two books in the Atlas 6 series by Olivia Blake, and I liked them. It says on the back, a ghost-infested mansion, a small group of supernatural beings, and an unlikely quest. And the edges are also super cute. I love that it's all bats. And this is like a secret hardcover where you like, boop. Isn't that crazy? I really like this edition. And of course, I got the illustrated edition of The Hobbit to match my Silmarillion and my Lord of the Rings trilogy. It is stunning, as they all have been, and I love it very much. Naked hardcover looks like this. Ugh. These editions are just like so pretty. They're also very heavy. I have the Illumicrate edition of Zahara by S.J. Jones. This came when I was subscribed to Illumicrate. The naked hardcover is really interesting. It's kind of like manga. I know this is the author of Winter Song, which I thought was okay. I do need to finish the other book eventually. But I'm kind of curious to see what she will do in a very different type of story. Magic flickers, love flames, chaos reigns. And I guess she has magic that she's trying to keep under control, and there's rumors of monsters re-emerging in her world, and they realize that the rumors are more than they thought, and a mysterious plague is corrupting the magicians and turning them into monsters. And they try to defeat the plague before it can transform their loved ones. And then I have the first edition of Bring Me Your Midnight by Rachel Griffin. I've been collecting these kind of because she keeps doing these really cool secret covers. I know I have a problem, but her books always sound kind of interesting to me. And seems like the main character, Tanya, her life was planned out since she was born, and she was supposed to marry the governor's son and secure an unprecedented alliance between the witches of her island home and the mainlanders who see her very existence as a threat. She misses a ritual that's extremely important, and it says that missing it will be fatal. I'm not really sure why, and she doesn't know what to do until she meets somebody named Wolf. And he claims he's from a coven that practices dark magic, and he can help her. He teaches her the magic instead of letting her flush it into the sea like everyone else. And chaos and danger ensue. Then I got the Fairylead edition, which I was very excited that they did this, of Mysteries of Thorn Manor by Margaret Rogerson. I read this. I bought the tiny little US edition that was like a really weird size and printing. And I'm so glad they did this edition because I had these Fairylead editions and I wanted all of them to match. So this is a very pretty one. I love the cover, the gold, all of that good stuff. It matches all the others. It's a little tiny sequel story after the events of Sorcery of Thorns, and it was very cute. I really liked it. And then I got in the Fake Crate edition of A Duet with the Siren Duke. This is the Fake Crate editions that match all of the Married to Magic series, and the edges are kind of like this gold, but it's kind of bronzy gold almost. But we all know that the hardcovers of these are what is cool about them, and this one is no exception. It's very beautiful. Haven't read it, but it's a fantasy romance about somebody being forced into marriage with a siren. And then I have the Fairylead edition of The Light Struck by Sunya Mara. This is book 2. The first book was The Darkening. I'm not sure if the series has a name, but the first book is The Darkening. It's a very pretty edition. I don't even remember everything about it, but I believe the first one is Storm Magic. Obviously, I know nothing about book 2, and I haven't read book 1, but gotta keep up, you know? Kind of the same story for this one. I got the Illumicrate edition of The Hunting Moon by Susan Denard because I have the first one, The Luminaries, and the Illumicrate editions of these are so pretty and foily. Again, not really sure what this one's about because I haven't even read the first one. It says, not every nightmare is evil, not every nightmare deserves to die. And then I have the Waterstones signed exclusive edition of Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry. I'm glad I got this because I read Legends and Lattes recently and really liked it, and I got the edition with the sprayed edges with the skulls. the bones and the books. And I love the UK covers so much. They're really cute, and I just like the chalkboard aesthetic. This is a prequel story about Vi, and she's like starting off as her mercenary career, but she gets injured and has to recover, and this is that story. And I have the Fairy Loot edition of Foxglove by Adeline Grace because I did get the Fairy Loot edition of Belladonna. This is a beautiful book. I love the editions they've done on these. They're just absolutely stunning. And the hardcover is also really pretty. I also have the Fairy Loot edition of Last Violent Call by Chloe Gong to match my Fairy Loot editions of all of Chloe Gong's works so far. In this world, anyway. Oh, I don't need to go into this at all, but I also got volume 5 of Lore Olympus, because you gotta keep up. The Fairy Loot edition of The Shadow Cabinet by Juno Dawson. This is book 2 in the Her Majesty's Royal Coven series. I'm not sure if the series itself has a title. The cover for this is bright orange. I don't really remember what the first one's about, except that it's a coven of witches that work for the queen or something. And this is book 2, and it says something rotten at heart of the government. Ooh, this one's really great. I really wish I could find the first one, but I probably never will. I have the Pendragon, or Lunary, I think is what it's called now, Society's edition of The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This is the Italian edition in this special edition bookshop, and it is beautiful. If you remember the Once Upon a Broken Heart one that everyone wants and no one can get, it was one of the prettiest books ever. I have Ballad of Never After, and it's blue, it's beautiful, it's got a clock, it's got some magic in it. The hardcover, it's in Italian, so you know I can't read it, but that doesn't matter, and it comes with a bookmark. You can't tell I collect Stephanie Garber books. There you go. And then I got these secondhand because I think they're being picked up. They're probably gonna get picked up by a publisher, and they're probably gonna disappear, and so I just grabbed them secondhand while I can, so that I'm not having to buy like hardcovers or anything. But I got the rest of the Plated Prisoner series that is out. So I got Glint by Raven Kennedy, Gleam, and Glow. And they're a little bit beat up, they're used. I was totally fine with that, it was a great price. This is the story about a King Midas retelling where she is gold. I don't know, man. And then we have 2 books that are kind of similar, but also very different. These are both Sleepy Hollow retellings, and I was really intrigued by that idea. And this one is like, there's like an adult version and a YA version, kind of. So the adult version is Hollow by Karina Holly. And it says, "Welcome to Sleepy Hollow, may you never leave." And the idea of just having a Sleepy Hollow retelling was extremely interesting to me, and so I wanted to read them. It's also cool. It's got like a lot of like really interesting like foresty pages, playlist, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, a map. It's called A Gothic Shade of Romance, Book 1. We'll see if I end up liking it, but the cover is beautiful, and I just wanted it because it was a Sleepy Hollow retelling. And this is another Sleepy Hollow reimagining, and it is Hollowed by Jessica S. Taylor. She wrote The Sirens Mutiny, and I met her at Imaginarium Book Festival. Got Sirens Mutiny on audiobook, haven't read it yet, but I've been really intrigued to read her writing, and when this was announced that it was coming, I was all for it. This is really interesting, and I was very excited. Like I said, this is more YA, so probably more my speed, honestly. I freaking love indie authors because they always put their like Spotify playlists, and that's just awesome. Her dedication is to those who battle themselves every day. Sleepy Hollow is crumbling. To protect the supernatural town from the mundane world, each year a resident is sacrificed to the Dullahan, the headless horseman that protects the veil around the hollow. 19-year-old Katrina Van Tassel knows she's a disappointment to her parents, for more reasons than one, but as an only daughter for the most prominent family in Sleepy Hollow, she never imagined that she would be chosen as the next sacrifice, or that in her attempt to escape, she would come face to face with the horseman himself. Discovering the harbinger of death is nothing like the legend she'd been told, and she begins to question everything she has ever been told. Evil forces far more dangerous than the mysterious horsemen are at work in the hollow, and the horseman is determined to protect them all. Doesn't that sound fun? I talked about this, and I don't need to stay on this very long because I've talked about this book before and done an unboxing, but we have The Bone Smith by Nikki Palpretto. This is the Fairy Loot edition. It was really good. I have the Goldsboro edition. I think this was my last Goldsboro subscription that I got, and it is House of Marion by J.L. It is a really pretty edition, honestly. Look at that, Goldsboro stuffing it up. And it says, Quell Marion has lived her entire life on the run in order to hide the deadly magic that flows through her veins. Born cursed with a perilous dark magic, and her sentence for having it is death. When her secret is discovered by a merciless assassin, she fears her time is running out. So there's only one place that can save her, which is the House of Marion, which is run by her estranged grandmother. The school trains their students to enter the Order, a society of magical elites. This may be the key to burying her forbidden magic forever, but if it is discovered, she will be killed. And she realizes that hiding who you are is harder, especially when you meet handsome, brooding Jordan. Ugh, a magical school. I didn't realize it was gonna be that good. I also bought the Goldsboro edition of The Mystery of Dunvegan Castle, because this is book 3 in the Edinburgh Nights series, and it's all mappy, and I had to have it to match my other 2, even though I haven't read the first one yet, but they're so pretty. On the map pages, it's just the coolest. I think I bought this because it was like it was like a couple dollars, and it was like enough to get me to free shipping on Pango Books for resale used books, and it is Court of Ravens in Ruin by Elizabeth Rain. I've never really heard about it, but it's the Shadowbound Queen series. A defiant human woman, a dark fae prince, 2 enemies bound to a marriage that could destroy their world. That's literally all I know. I also got book 2 of the Binding Chronicles Tormented by Elena R. Galia, because I found out that the covers are changing, and I bought this secondhand very cheaply, like I bought the first one, but found out the covers are changing, and the cover did change for the third one, but she did a limited printing of the third one to match these, and I was grateful because that really drives me nuts. And I love the size of these paperbacks. Like, I love the covers, they're really cool. The story is essentially like some sort of Twilight story and forced marriage story. I don't know much else, but I got the second one so that I could get the covers that match because I was terrified. I also got the Illumicrate edition of A Lady's Guide to Scandal by Sophie Irwin, because John got me A Lady's Guide to Mischief, A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting, the Illumicrate edition, and so I got this to match, and it was very pretty, and hopefully I like it. This is kind of the historical romance genre I like, so hopefully I like this one as well because the cover and the design is very beautiful. I got the Bookish Box edition of Blood Orange by Karina Halley. I did unbox this if I posted it. I got it though. The Issachar Felton by K.S. Veloso, the second book in the Wolf Queen series. It's been a while since I've hauled, good grief. I also have Forged by Blood by Iqbor Akosun, the Fairy Loot edition. These next ones I'm pretty excited about, because I wanted to read these for so long and I never did, and then they did special editions of them and I was like, it is time to buy them and to potentially read them soon. So the first one is Poison Study by Maria V. Snyder. I've heard great things about this series, and it's like kind of a classic YA series that is really, really good, and so I was really happy to get these editions. And then we have Magic Study. They're just so pretty. And Fire Study. And I believe there's more books. I'm sure if there are, they will produce them. Getting closer to the end. This is taking a while. Oh, sorry. If you don't know what Poison Study is, has to choose between a quick death or slow poison. I guess she murdered somebody, because it says that murderers are to be executed no matter what, and she's resigned to her fate, but she's offered an extraordinary reprieve to be the food taster of the commander of Iaxia. So she has to eat the best meals, have a room in the castle, risk assassination by anyone trying to kill the commander. But to make matters worse, the chief of security deliberately feeds her butterfly's dust, a deadly poison. Only by appearing for her daily antidote can she prevent an agonizing death. And she develops magical powers in the midst of that. Whoa, that sounds really good. Then we have the holiday edition of Fourth Wing, because look at this cover. It is way better. I love it way more. And it had bonus content of Zayden's POV. We all got it. We can accept that. Oh, I also got the Illumicrate edition of One for My Enemy by Olive E. Blake in the set with the other book. It's a really pretty edition. In New York City, two rival witch families fight for the upper hand. There you go. I also have the Fairy Loot edition of Fourth Wing. Whew, waiting to haul books and seeing how many editions I have of these books is kind of telling. Yep. These next books, when I found out Fairy Loot was doing them, I freaked out. I really liked the first one. but I freaked out because of how beautiful they were. So they did the Remnant Chronicles and I got them, and the first one is The Kiss of Deception. I don't love the dust jackets because they're that thin papery kind that gets messed up really easily, but the design is beautiful. But the edges make up a map. It's so cool. And the bottom and the top, like it's all just really cool. End pages are beautiful. There's foiling on the hardcover, like beautiful. So with The Kiss of Deception, she runs away from an arranged marriage and she's in hiding, and there's an assassin trying to kill her and a prince that is like trying to find her to get to know her because he was in the arranged marriage and he's wondering why she ran away. And you as the reader do not know who's who. You don't know which of the boys is the assassin and which of them is the prince in this first book. And it was really fun. I really liked the premise and the intrigue and just all of that going on. So I was very happy they were doing special editions of this, and I'm going to continue the series, so super fun. Then we have book 2, The Heart of Betrayal by Mary E. Pearson. I don't know if I said that the first time. It's just so cool. And The Beauty of Darkness. And then we have this giant series that I have read most of. I'm supposed to finish in December, but these are the Bookish Box editions of the Bonds That Tie series by J. Bree. They are absolutely beautiful. The covers themselves are very unique and creepy and pretty in their own way, but they just made it even more cool. So, Broken Bonds. I've talked about these on my channel before, so I feel like I don't really need to get into them that much. Book 2 is Savage Bonds. Book 3 is Blood Bonds. Book 4 is Forced Bonds. Book 5 is Tragic Bonds. Book 6 is Unbroken Bonds. Very beautiful editions. And last 2 are Fairy Loot editions that I've already unboxed, so we can go through them quickly. Son of Blood and Ruin by Marley Lorez. This is a really pretty edition. Really pretty book. And If I Have to Be Haunted by Miranda Sun, Fairy Loot edition. Hello, this is your booktuber coming at you that I forgot to put these 2 books in my haul because I was traveling with them for Christmas. We have A Lust for Blood by Casey Smith. This is her new cover for this book. I really love it, and I got the paperback. And then we have Welcome to Fae Cafe by Jennifer Kropf. This is like it says Danger, Kisses, a Whole Lot of Cookies, a High Court of the Coffee Bean novel. This is like a cozy fantasy similar to like Legends and Lattes, but I believe it's supposed to be a whole series, and it's Coffee Bean High Court Book 1. It just sounded adorable. It says 4 deadly fae assassins come to the human realm to hunt down Kate Colsey for breaking a fairy law. Leading them is the prince, the most feared and deadly fae assassin of the north and the heir to the north corner of ever. And I don't know, it just sounded super cute and fun. So I also got these. Failure of the day again. I also got Treasured because, like I said, they were doing a cover change, and this was the 3rd book, and they did a printing that matched the other covers. Well, those are all of the books that I am hauling today. It was quite a bit. I got overwhelmed a little bit. I have no idea where these books are gonna go. I will figure it out eventually. I need to do some cleaning today anyway. And hopefully I can get Christmas stuff up too. Christmas decor. Yeah, a little overwhelmed right now, but it's okay. Because we have a lot of great books here to continue to read into the next year. Please comment down below and let me know which of these books was your favorite or you're most interested to read. But as for now, that is it for today's video. Please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time. Stay safe and caffeinated. Bye.